distinguished officials and members of this audience, including the Episcopal Conference and representatives from the Ministry of Internal Affairs, my dear colleagues, the brothers, the priests, and religious men and women, all of you brothers and sisters, all of you people of God, I would like to welcome in a special way those representatives of the other faiths and traditions. And I would like to thank the ministry for their presentation. I will now be more careful as I travel, since I'm also a potential victim of human trafficking. Today we gather as one family of God, united in prayer, reflection, and action against the evil of human trafficking, a crime that robs millions of people of their dignity, their freedom, and very humanity. Human trafficking, as we have heard, is not a distant problem affecting others. It is here among us. It is in our villages, our towns and cities. It preys upon the vulnerability of our children, women and young people, luring them with the false promises of work, education, or a better life. Only to trap them in forced labor, sexual exploitation, and modern-day slavery. But we must also recognize the painful truth. Human trafficking is not a crime of chance. It is organized crime. Behind every victim, there are networks of recruiters, transporters, exploiters, profiteers who work together in secrecy and greed. They operate across borders using technology, corruption, and violence to sustain their trade in human lives. They strip people of their freedom in the same way gangs traffic weapons or drugs. Except here, the commodity is God's own children. So as the church, and together with our brothers and sisters of other faiths, whom I thank in a special way today, and thanking the Secretariat, our Commission of the Laity, and encouraging you that we cannot remain silent. All our traditions teach that human life is sacred, that every person has dignity, and that exploitation is an abominable before God. So today we have prayed not only for victims, those who are trapped, those who have been rescued, and those who are still hidden in darkness, but also for the conversion of the traffickers, that they may turn away from greed and evil. But prayers alone is not enough. Our faith demands action. Survivors of human trafficking in Uganda face many struggles even after rescue. Many, as you have heard, return home traumatized, carrying deep wounds of exploitation, violence, and shame. Survivors often find themselves rejected or stigmatized by their families and communities, treated as though they are to blame. Many come back empty-handed, poorer than they went, without savings, no jobs or skills, making them vulnerable to being trafficked again. Survivors, especially women and young mothers, struggle to care for their children with no financial support. And access to justice remains limited. Few traffickers are persecuted. They buy themselves out because of the rampant corruption, as you know. And victims rarely receive compensation or protection. I'll share this story with you of one young woman from our land. She was promised a good job abroad as a house helper. Full of hope, she left her family, dreaming of building a better life. But instead of work and dignity, she was locked in a house, beaten, denied food, and forced labor without pay. So after many months, by God's grace, she was rescued and brought back to Uganda. Yet her struggles did not end there. She returned sick, traumatized, and rejected by some members of her community who accused her of bringing shame to their community. She had no money, no livelihood, and no one to rely on. Only through the support of a small faith-based program did she begin to heal, to regain her confidence, and to start rebuilding her life. After wasting so much time and wasting her life. So my brothers and sisters, this is not just her story. It is the story of many Ugandans, our daughters, our sisters, our brothers. It is a reminder that rescue alone is not enough. Survivors need psychosocial support, they need education, livelihoods, and legal protection, and the embrace of their families and communities to begin anew. Therefore, I would like to call upon government authorities to treat human trafficking as organized crimes, strengthening investigations, enforcing laws, and dismantling the crime networks behind it. You have talked about our internal trafficking from one region to another. Those on our streets, I think the children and young people from Ssemogerere area, some of them are babies. They don't know anything about money and how to use the commodity of that money. They are put on the streets. And those who put on the streets know that these children are begging for and they're being exploited for their own greed. And I've been told that get in touch or hold any of one of them and you will be followed by these organized groups because they are organized and maybe they are known. I'm wondering why the authorities do not follow that up and break this gang in our own country. They bring shame. It is quite embarrassing to see fellow Ugandans from one area being so exploited by ourselves. I also call upon religious and faith leaders from all traditions to raise awareness. Ours is an important duty of doing advocacy on their behalf and offer counseling and provide safe shelters. I call upon families and communities to welcome survivors back with love and not with judgment. I call upon younger people to resist false promises, cherish their God-given worth, and courageously stand for truth. I would like to thank you organizers that you have engaged and involved the majority of us here, young and children, to know the importance of their own dignity and how important they should protect it. I encourage you, dear children, dear youth, to settle down and seek for guidance from your elders who are worth. Seek for work and jobs that maintain the dignity of humanity. So, on this National Day of Prayer, it is not just an event to end today. It is a commitment, a movement. Together, let us say no to exploitation, no to slavery, and yes to dignity, freedom, and life. My dear brothers and sisters, the struggle against human trafficking is not just a legal or social issue. It is a spiritual battle between good and evil, between love and greed, between human dignity and organized crime. But as St. Paul reminds us, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Let us therefore walk in solidarity, guided by God's mercy and justice, until no child, no woman, no man is enslaved in our land and beyond. I would like to thank you all organizers and you stakeholders. I would like to thank the administration of Sharing for hosting us. I may go for other duties, but I would like to encourage you to exploit the planned program so that we may together voice out the cries of those who have been affected by human trafficking. May this prayer ignite in us the courage to act, the compassion to serve, and the faith to believe that with God, freedom is possible for every victim. May the Lord bless you all, bless our country, Uganda, and bless our united efforts to end human trafficking. I thank you, and God be with you.
Thank you.